Good afternoon. Welcome.
Halo, halo, serdecznie? Okej. Dobrze, więc dzień dobry.
Hi again.
Witam Państwa serdecznie. Ja się nazywam
My name is Sylwia Koniuszewska,
i zapraszam
and
Państwa
I would like to invite
warsztatu,
you
którego
to
tytuł
this
jest
workshop
dosyć złożony
titled
i brzmi
Life
następująco.
in a Hybrid
Życie w
Reality,
hybrydowej rzeczywistości,
balancing between
czyli
the
balansowanie
offline and
między
online
światem
world,
offline a online,
or
czyli jak
how
dbać
to take care of your
o swój
well-being
dobrostan oraz
and
higienę
digital
cyfrową.
hygiene.
I przyznam szczerze, noszę teraz w sobie taką refleksję, że jak przygotowałam się do tego warsztatu, to myślałam, że temat będzie mniej skomplikowany.
With you, when I was preparing for the workshop, I assumed that the topic is less complicated, but when I delved into detail and looked at the studies devoted to that topic, I realized that the topic is really vast and comprehensive. Secondly, this topic is very close to me personally
na wielu różnych płaszczyznach.
in a number of ways.
Tak właśnie bardzo króciutko powiem o sobie w takim kontekście, żeby Państwo mieli nawiązanie do tematyki tej warsztatu, tak żebyśmy jak najwięcej tutaj skorzystali z tego warsztatu, żeby nie zostawić Państwa też teorią, ale też żebyśmy tutaj empirycznie troszeczkę doświadczali. Czyli przede wszystkim ja z tym tematem higieny osobistej, tutaj higieny tej cyfrowej, tak, zmierzam się osobiście, bo w moim odczuciu właśnie jest taka cienka granica pomiędzy tym, kiedy ja czuję, że kontroluję technologię, a tym, kiedy technologie manipulują mną. Z drugiej strony też patrzę na ten temat z perspektywy mamy dwójki małych dzieci, tak, które już urodziły się, moje dzieci, tak, w tej erze cyfrowej i widzę, jakie już jest takie nastawienie tych dzieci od maleńkości,
from the very beginning, they also are struggling to find a balance. That's a question I keep asking myself. We are not able to cut the children off technology, and this is part of reality. And thirdly, and here I will slightly touch upon my personal activity. I'm a personal advisor in the provincial labor office in Gdańsk. I work directly with people on their development. I'm also responsible for the development of the Pomeranian Vocational Advisory, which is composed of different vocational advisors from different institutions, from borough labor offices, schools, scouting organizations, NGOs, so-called career offices. And when I look at our advisors and what is being offered on the market, we hear often that professional advisors, vocational advisors, need to be more educated when it comes to their well-being. They look for additional tools to do so. So when shaping this workshop for you, I was also trying to take a possibly broad approach to the topic, so that you, as career advisors, could use my presentation as inspiration with your groups, with your customers, be them adolescents or adults. And now let me move to the nitty-gritty. We will talk about hybrid world. We'll try to answer the question about the situation in Poland and worldwide, giving you some studies and bodies of research to analyze. I'll talk about the chances and challenges of the hybrid world. More or less, we will focus on 4 areas of taking care of your digital hygiene. We will name them and tell you what they are. What is more, we will look at the benefits and consequences of not caring for your digital hygiene, and then we will talk about the basics of digital hygiene and how we can use it even today after that workshop, the micro behaviors that can be useful. And last but not least, I will try to give you a summary based on my experience. I will try to talk to you about techniques that can be used during professional life. I hope that you will be able to do hands-on exercise. There is one further thing that I should tell you about myself. I work in the Provincial Labour Office as a career advisor, but I have another strong leg. Namely, I'm a well-being coach, a life coach. I focus on building well-being, holistic well-being. I'm a co-founder of the association Next Step of Holistic Development that promotes resilience and prevention of burnout and civilizational diseases, the so-called diseases of the 21st century. And we know that the more the digital world develops, which is unavoidable, the more the diseases and ailments will evolve. So the prevention of professional burnout also applies to teachers, for instance, and career advisors. Now, let me move on to the presentation. Let's start with a basic question. Who of you has a smartphone? Hands up. Tricky question, yeah? So you all have a smartphone, right? And who has a smartphone that is connected to the internet? All of you. Well, and now let me give you some global data. As you can see, 2/3 of the global population, that is almost 65%, uses, broadly understood, screen devices. Almost 97% of internet users between the age of 16 and 64 owns a smartphone. Interestingly, almost all of them have smartphones. Only a small fraction has a telephone that doesn't have access to the internet. And per day, we absorb 34 gigabytes of information, which is an equivalent of 100,000 words, as if somebody was talking to us, for 12 hours non-stop. This is indeed massive. Now, let me give you the Polish situation. There isn't much difference in Poland. Almost 89% of the country's population used the internet. In social media, we have 66% of Poles as active users. 91% of Polish internet users have mobile access to the net in their devices. Another interesting conclusion, which came as a surprise to me, or actually saddened me. On average, 6.44, almost 7 hours. That's how long an average Pole uses the network. We will try to answer the question what it means to use the network. But on the whole, devices are not a threat. However, it is a threat if you use them improperly. Studies show, moreover, that smartphones are the most dangerous ones. Computers are not so dangerous. Nowadays, smartphones are much bigger of a threat to people. Now let me move on and give you some practical insight. I would like to ask you to take out your smartphones and let's try to answer a question. The question is displayed in Polish on the screen. What are the reasons why adults use screen devices with the internet? Please provide 3 associations. Go to menti.com, dial in the access code. I hope it's active. And please tell me when you're ready. Wonderful. I will ask the gentleman to display the results, the cloud. Not now. 32, 38, 09, 05. This is the code. And the question is, what are the reasons why adults use screen devices connected to the internet? Just give me your first three associations. Do you all have the code already? No? Well, can we please have the code displayed on the screen again? It is on top, so you can see it. And now, number one is definitely work. We can see what other answers we are getting. Well, the size of the font means that the size of the font is proportional to the number of people providing that answer. This is an anonymous tool. So we have 48 answers already, 57 even. Work, entertainment, news, emails or communication, internet portals, so that's again communication. Perhaps they have some other function as well. Getting information. I do encourage you people to vote. Let's wait 2 more minutes and we will try to compare that with the results of studies, and we will see how you compare with the rest of the world. Okay, well, 63 answers already. I think that we will be able to draw some average based on that. Definitely, you say that work is number one here, but close to that we also have entertainment and communication, so news. Slightly below, shopping, bank transfers, running errands, emails, looking for information, pleasure, entertainment, communication. Well, I think we can now move back to the presentation. You were close when it comes to the areas that you've identified. Now let's compare that with the results of research. The research is pretty recent. It comes from 2022. It was conducted during the entire year 2022, and the results were published recently. This is a report on the digital hygiene in Poland. The report, as you can see, shows that number one, when it comes to activities online, is social media. Yellow is daily, so this is the highest frequency. 73% of internet users use their smartphones every day to go to social media. Communication is number two. That's what you mentioned as well. Email, messages, etc. Number three is, just like you rightly pointed out, finding information, so looking for knowledge. Work, like professional work, is only number four. 50% of internet users use screen devices for their professional engagements. This is an important signal. We use internet for a plethora of reasons. We see that many professions are not directly linked to sitting in front of a computer. The remainder, 50% of people, are active online in totally different areas than those related to work. A conclusion may be drawn, therefore, that we use the internet in such a great number of ways. We all use it. If you don't use it for the purpose of your office work, there are still areas that you're going to visit and make use of every single day. Let's continue then. Well, what is hybrid life? I think this is the basic question. Based on the literature that I've read, I can say that hybrid life is about taking decisions every day related to different activities, different areas of your life, especially the ones that you identified, but also the ones that were identified on the graph.
But also switching in between. In other words, making decisions. Which type of activity I'm going to go for in the real world and which one in the digital world. And this is combination of this realistic daily experience that happens online. And let me refer to the hybrid work example. Generally speaking, we can work intellectually, but physically we are completely absent. This could be this hybrid word. Another example here can be our traveling by tram. What can we see at other people? They sit, look into their smartphones. They do not look around. This is my impression, at least, that majority of young people are stuck in digital world. The question is it a digital hybrid world? Maybe. Next example. When we interactively spend time with other people, but at the same time we are still getting some messages on our mobile phones, and this is a phenomenon which has been already described. I will explain it later. So hybrid world, hybrid life is the efficient way of combining both of them, the realistic and online worlds. We should be aware of what this hybrid world is all about in terms of risks and opportunities. So, of course, we will not avoid the technological progress, but we need to find a balance. This is the most important thing. This is a subjective, and the biggest opportunities here as the universal access, no matter time of the day, place we are, we can be a part of this global community. We can have access to valuable content, not only fun content, but also something valuable like professional experience development, private development as well. So these are, of course, the opportunities, but they entail certain risks. What I believe the biggest risk and threat here is this is the overburden of information, and we even have the name for it, which is the digital burn down, specifically those who work who spend lots of time in front of computer to be able to be offline if it can be online all the time. So these new habits are generated. In case of challenges, these are habits that can harm our physical health and mental health at the end of the day as well. So it's worth to take a different perspective as well. How our brain respond to this increasing contact with digital technologies. We spend more and more time in front of screens, we get more and more information, and of course there will be even more of them. That's done because of the dynamic development of our AI. But as per the principle, we have human beings, and we have certain limitations, whether we like it or not. In terms of evolution, in terms of neurobiology, our brain is not adapted to absorb and process such an abundance of information. So, either our bodies would get sick, or we decide to go different path where we can avoid diseases and we can influence it somehow. To show you the universality of this project, we have research. This is research done by Universa. This is the foundation headed by Marcina Wojciechowska, about the mental resistance of young people until the 13th years of age. And let me stress three things here. As much as 49% of young people experienced hate, and every fifth of them believes she is dependent on the technology, and almost 18% seems to be experience fatigue while being somehow stuck on the screens. Some other people, these also have fear from being detached from the online world, and I'm talking about the fear when young people, in situations when young people, for instance, forget to take mobile phones with them while leaving home, or when the battery was off, etc. Moving on to the areas of digital hygiene. So this is this Polish survey on this digital hygiene, developed 4 areas, and we are going to focus on 2 areas that are framed here in colors. So first and foremost is setting borders and control while using internet and screen devices. That's something that we can influence. It's about learning, testing new techniques to improve here. In a moment, I will tell you about these activities. And then the second area, these are simply the pro-health behaviors related to use of internet. However, the ones that actually help us to keep this digital health balance. And here I mean the physical and mental aspects, relations with other people. Now let's discuss some new phenomena that appeared in this area of digital hygiene. The first one is techno stress. It's a specific experience of stress. I don't know if you can recognize it. I can recognize this feeling, this sensation when I spend too much time on technologies. And then the deeper effect of techno-stress, where there is already long-lasting stress that we experience, will push us to go through phonobolism, which is already becoming depending. Then doom scrolling, this is going through the worrying content all the time. It's this is called also, this is related to this digital pacifier. That's another phenomenon. But this is whenever we experience difficult emotions and we want to get distracted, then in a compulsive way we start using digital world to be detached, to get detached from the real world. This failing to observe the digital hygiene will impact our mental health, and those of you who spend much time in front of the screens would experience migraine headaches, problems with eyes, sitting, the backaches, etc. Another aspect, homophobia, which, like I said before, this is the fear of not having contact, not being in touch with the digital world. An interesting notion here is technoference and the hybrid split, and this experience of conflict, this hybrid split. Well, let me explain what it is all about. This is the experience of this internal conflict. Shall I be present in the digital world? Should, if I'm not there, when I'm in the real world, I get some messages and pop-ups, so I don't know where I should be, here or there. I don't know. For instance, when I came to I was coming to conference, I had this experience, this feeling. I was thinking, I'm coming here, so should I publish a post because I'm building my personal image? But if I send a post, I would enter the this technoference state. So finally, I published my post, and later I will explain why it's worth asking this question. This answer to it can be very subjective. Another worrying phenomenon is the digital dementia, short-term memory loss. That's something that should be remembered. And finally, depression, loneliness, and the futurologists say that this loneliness is a huge threat. And then building such superficial relations, this is another threat and the outcome, finally. So now I have to speed up because I don't have much time left, well, in the previous survey, the conclusion was that everything impacts our physical, mental sphere and the sphere of relations, and this actually falls under the holistic well-being state, and these physical, mental and relational aspects also correlate with each other. When we spend too much time and digital world, we've experienced some aches, we suffer from insomnia. Even if we sleep 8 hours, the efficacy of sleep is not sufficient. This would entail the certain mental problems. We don't know how to manage our emotions. Once we feel weaker, emotionally weaker, then in terms of relations, we also won't be that ready or not motivated to enter into deeper relations with other people, relations based on the value, on the presence, etc. We can skip this one because we don't have time for that. And now let's move on to the principles. So the practical tips. There are like two clouds you can see on the slide, two areas where we should specifically be focused on in our daily life. The first one is setting borders and control of time that we spend online. The other area is our various health supporting activities. The proposals that I came up with, they are just common for both areas, and they interfere. This is about the self-awareness. This is about creation of a motivation to limit time spent online, to regulate this, or to actually mute telephone so that your mobile phone, so that we should not get instantly the messages. We can also go for some digital kind of cleaning. We could give up on certain bulletins, newsletters that we get, instant messages that we get. When we work with computers, we can set certain borders. When we work remotely, how we communicate online. There was an EU resolution that came into force saying that we have the right to be offline. There will be even a directive developed on that. So this is the competence of the future being here and now. This is the mindfulness training. This is the focus training. I can see it everywhere, even among my employees during breaks. People have their meals in front of the screens, and they simply stay in front of computer all day long, and we lose our focus. We don't even notice whether we are still hungry or not. At the end of the day, we eat more. Time spent in nature, another very effective element of building well-being, and this is the asking this answer whether time we spent online would bring me closer to my professional and private goals. And I believe this is a very powerful question. We should use it as mantra. We should pose this question numbers of times daily. And this is the question I asked myself, and the answer was yes, and that's why I published my post. That was this question.
And now, let me move on to the first steps of digital hygiene. I personally am a fan of micro changes, taking small steps, because small steps can lead to huge change. Not a revolution, but evolution. The workshop and tools that I'm presenting to you are aimed at letting you show your students, your clients, such micro steps. One of the apps that should be tested out is the app that you have on your smartphone. Do you know the Digital Balance app? Have you tested it already? Well, it's only recently that I learned about it, but I wanted to check myself to see how much time I spent online, and I must say I was shocked. I was negatively surprised learning about how much time I spend online. Being online is not just about texting or emailing, it's also about checking your mailbox, etc., etc. And I think it's a clear signal that can motivate you to change something. For instance, to a small extent, the habits that you have in your life. Another interesting tool could be a diagnosis. It takes around 10 to 15 minutes. It is done online in the form of a test. This test allows you to identify your level of digital hygiene. It focuses on the 4 areas that I identified for you before, and I do encourage you to test it out, to check out the tool, not only today after the workshop. Perhaps after this workshop you could implement some new habits related to digital hygiene, and then you could retest yourself to see the progress. Perhaps something is changing, and I think it's good to be in tune, good to be observing what is happening. Another strong technique, and here I should say that as the co-founder of the foundation, I'm also active in the sphere of burnout, but I'm also a certified yoga teacher. I run different trainings, for instance, breathing techniques, and I think that breathing is a huge resource that is with you always. Conscious breathing is able to get the job done. For instance, if you're experiencing techno stress at work, it's enough to work with your breath for 3 minutes and it can do miracles. Correct breathing can do so much. It could be a topic for a separate workshop even. It brings so many benefits. It relaxes you, but also helps you to create mindfulness and self-awareness in you. Breathing is one of the most important elements of your digital hygiene activities. Now, I would like us to go through some practical part. It's, however, going to be of research nature. I hope that after the 5 minutes you will be able to draw some specific conclusions. I hope that you have your pens with you. We have 7 minutes until the finish of our workshop. It's a method that I've tested on around 80 people, and it really gives you a lot. I will tell you more about the technique. Just please take out a piece of paper and a pen. We will work with some breathing techniques. It will all last around 5 minutes. I have to get my counter ready. Okay, are you ready? So, sit down and relax. Stretch your back. Imagine that somebody is pulling you as if you were a pendulum, pulling you upwards to the sky, shoulders down. Close your eyes. And let's start breathing slowly and peacefully. And now, try to breathe as deeply as possible for a minute. Okay, and now let's start the first minute. So try to breathe in and out peacefully for 1 minute and count the breaths. Breathe in, breathe out, that's 1 breath. Just memorize how many did you manage to make. Now let's stop and jot down the number of breaths that you did. In and out, breathing in and breathing out, that's 1 breath. And now, during the next 4 minutes, we will breathe in the following sequence. 1, 2, 3 for inhaling and exhaling for 6 seconds, so 2 times longer. Try to get some practice right now. If you have no option to exhale for 6 minutes, it can be shorter, of course, don't feel stressed with it. So it's 3 seconds for inhaling and twice longer for exhaling. Can we start? All right, so let's go. And now the final minute, return to the breathing that you did at the beginning. I'm going to turn on the counter and again count the breaths after our short session. This will be our final minute and then we'll have a very brief summary. 3, 4, and you go. Open your eyes and jot down the result. Well, unfortunately, we are out of time, but I would like to ask you a question. Was the second number lower than the first one? Fewer breaths, so it's enough to have 5 or 6 minutes during a working day, even if it's a stressful situation. If you want to focus, then try to calm down your breath. That's our conclusion, that's our lesson learned. Try to do this exercise with others. And last but not least, very quickly, yoga at your desk when you feel stress in your shoulders, you're experiencing headache or lumbar pain. The presentation will be attached and shared with you, so you'll find a clip on YouTube, yoga at your desk. It's enough to devote just 5 minutes and it really can do miracles. And have you heard about Japanese methodology called forest bathing? It all was created back in the 1980s. It was started by the Japanese ministry. We have more and more guides offering connection with nature through your 5 senses. Shinrin-yoku, forest bathing, gives you better insight into yourself. Forest bathing is the solution for digital hygiene of the future. It's about walking without any specific aim, slowly, peacefully, achieving the stage of full acceptance of everything that is around you. And each and every session is unique, so I do encourage you to now look at the topic. We as the association, we have a project addressed at women, focusing on forest bathing and reducing stress, but we hope to have a recording made at the turn of August and September. As a result of that project, this will be a recording that you can play to yourself using headphones, and then play it yourself in a park, in a forest, with a friend, and just achieve some silence after a day overloaded with stimuli. Digital reality is there, but it is our job to create self-awareness so that we can make the best use of digital reality so that it serves us and not harms us. Even the biggest change starts with the first step, and that's something that I would like to encourage you to, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your kind attention.